Good morning and welcome back to Sosnovka. You find us here up at the Ministry of Logistics. We have their field of display sunflowers to harvest for them and replant, so they've got some nice fresh ones tomorrow for everyone to admire as they drive past. So we need to buy a header, and as we saw when we got the harvester, the best value is down here. We're going to go for this combined corn and sunflower harvester rather than the wider sunflower only harvester, which goes slower although it's wider. And we are going to, we could buy one. We're going to use it every day, or we could use it, it's not going to take too long to harvest, we don't quite know, I'm going to guess at half an hour ish. 170, it's going to save us quite a bit of money for now just to lease one. Yeah, we're going to do that at least until audit day, and then we'll see where we are. Right, I've got the harvester all nicely positioned to tow something, and of course it doesn't want to, although we do need to get in behind it. It is a little bit of a pain, I'm going to say it again, this stuff spawns inside the shop. The only way to get it out is to get the harvester behind it, which luckily isn't too tricky with this piece of equipment, but if you bought a few at a time it could be right in front of this wall and a right pain to get hold of. But anyway, enough of my whinging. Let's get this out. At least it'll fit outside the door, unlike the grain header, he says optimistically. Yay. Here we go, up to the lovely sunflower field. Go. We'll see how the worker gets on harvesting it. First time done, we've got sunflowers. I brought the big Zeta up here with the trailer because we needed to get the equipment up, obviously not for this field, but not the seeder anyway, although the cultivator is going to be required. We also need to pick up some more seed and fertilizer while we're here. And the little Zeta bulldozer still up in the woods, haven't quite decided where to put him yet. Little Zeta still back down on the main farm, and he is going to do some baling grass, which we'll wrap and we'll sell, because we're going to start taking a little bit more advantage of the facilities. And as usual, early in a play session, which is for me, there is confusion as to how I get the mower to fit on. It's because the front loader gear is getting in the way. Okay, there we go. The strip of grass is slightly different with its reploughing, basically due to the ongoing policing of the border by our neighbour, but not to worry. I think we may get slightly less out of it than we were, maybe half a bale, but nothing that's going to make too much of a difference, and it's very easy to make up a bale with all the lovely grass that's just sitting around. There we go. Now again, because we want round bales to wrap, we can't use a square baler, which would do this as hired help. Thinking it was only mowing, he wouldn't notice the baler, we get away with that. But we need to keep an eye on this guy. I'm going to keep an eye out when we've got to drop this bale. We'll go and look at the harvester. Here we go. He's out. Oh look, that's worked out well. He's going to run straight down to the longer length. Brilliant. Remember to turn things back on. Off we go. And we're just going to grab the bales as we kind of go and maybe drop them back in the yard. I think that's the best way of saving time. You've got the downtime on the wrapper as well, which as you see I use basically to move bales around, which is quite handy. a pity the wrap animation takes quite so long, and it's a great pity it will not continue if you're not sat in the tractor. That can be quite time consuming when you've got a lot to do. But I guess the money is worth the effort, and that's where the effort is the time. Oh, button confusion. That one drop. Okay, I'll just get on with this and we'll see where we are when we need to do some stuff. And this is where the harvester has got himself to, just completely left to his own devices, which I'm quite happy with. What I am going to do is interrupt him here, tidy up the bits he couldn't get, so simply we can let the other guys catch up with him and not have to worry about too much delay to the workflow. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that's turned out with the AI. And all free, all done for the Ministry of Logistics, so their customers, clients are happy. And Sosnovka is beautiful. Forgive me, I never go back for tiny little scraps or single rows. It's pennies worth. Get along here, and then we can get him straight back up the field. See how he gets on with the second half. The other thing that's slightly different from the original playthrough is that I did still have the planter for the sunflowers on lease, because we only used it for about 25 minutes, but that's not the case now, so we're going to have to get one of those organised. There you go, Mr. Worker, enjoy yourself. And while we're here, we shall use Big Zeta before he starts to fertilise. He can drop this trailer in what should be the appropriate position, which we're a little bit better at. Practice makes perfect, so I'm going to call it there. And now this guy can fertilise, and I think we'll bring the bulldozer down from the woods to get on with the seeding today. So we shall drop off the logging arms. We're going to keep the other arms on him, they're just handy to have. And once the little Zeta's finished moving bales around, they'll be perhaps handy up here to get some bags of fertilizer and seed onto that trailer. If not, we can flatten it to the ground and perhaps nudge them about in the traditional Sosnovkan way. So we need to get back into the shop. We need to buy a sewing machine, or rather lease, of course, one of those. We also need to buy, we're going to buy 2 fertilizer, 1 seed. And that should keep us more than going. Always catches me out the first time I get into this machine, its spinny nature, but as I hope you've seen, once you get the hang of it, in the swing of it, it's actually quite a positive thing. That's enough fertilizer actually, so that's the seed. Off we go. Remember, I'm being stingy with how much fertilizer I put in, so I don't have to send it back when I return it from the lease, although this is being used on a daily basis now also. We may look to buy one at some stage in the future. We shall see. And do recall that the lease costs of, I haven't cultivated, there you go, the lease cost of the header and the seeder for the sunflowers is offset by the half price fertilizer and seed we're getting from the Ministry of Logistics experiment batch. So what I'm getting at here is it will not show up on the accounts at all. This activity does not exist, but we will have the income from selling the sunflowers as a random benefit on our spreadsheet, and nobody at the ministry is going to question where random benefits come from, I can assure you. Right, off you go. No! Let's see. This is where you need to have a think. He is now full, so we need to dismiss him. I obviously missed the trailer. Right. That's okay. Then we want the big Zeta to cultivate and seed and refertilise, don't forget, at the same time. And the bulldozer can fertilise ahead of the big Zeta. Doesn't that make much more sense? Now I lost track of where I put the cultivator. Right, he's got hold of that. You can do a little pirouette and drop that off there. And then do another pirouette. Did anyone just hear a wasp fly past my head? You will pick up this fertilizer. And you shall get on with this. You can now emptied. I really do like this piece of equipment, this mod. It's character. The character is what I like. Congratulations to all makers of mods, and to the spectacular ones especially so. Right. Here we go. Of course I didn't need the cultivator last time we planted it because we'd had to plough it. And the seeder is set to sunflowers as is appropriate. Okay, and with these guys all off and running, as long as we... Oh, what are you up to? Where have you got to? Have a little look. See? Okay, we're going to be a little bit slapdash with the fertiliser. And just go straight back down here. Which I think the worker will do. There we are. Back to the baling. No, I've just popped back here and discovered some confusion. Now this, I presume, is caused by fears of collision with the post. Seemed a bit wary of those triple-legged posts, so easily managed. We'll drive him past here and hopefully Mr. Worker will settle down once he's beyond. We'll see what he's like when he comes back the other way. Big Zeta now doing 3 jobs at once, sterling work. It looks like he's probably going to come back down the next row and stop. You won't know quite what to do there, so we'll pop back shortly. And he's not ready to go yet, so we'll just do a little bit more over here. Turn on the required machines. We can probably get a bale done before that guy cultivating, seeding and fertilising needs a little bit of guidance on what to do next. Not quite sure why you just missed that patch. It's because I haven't lowered the mower. Silly, silly me. There we are. And yeah, we're doing the forestry. We're not going to overdo it. We're going to get the bales of silage done every day. Hopefully, as you can see, what I've got now is this guy's kind of free right now. Right, that is the point where we shall drop our bale. When I select the correct machine. Drop. This guy's free to do the mowing down here. and hopefully the wrapping too, whilst the other guys get on with the sunflower field. Hopefully it's going to kind of match up roughly time-wise, and they can kind of be reorganised from up there, and we get a bit of forestry done with the bulldozer. That's the plan. Right, just checking up here. He's heading back this way. Oh no, he seems to have sorted himself out. He may have done a... Oh, that's fantastic. Not quite sure how he's managed that, but I'm very happy that he did. Yeah, Harvester Man, as predicted, very fearful of the post, so we'll have to tidy that bit up, but that's not exactly laborious, is it? And off we go. And what we're going to do here now is whiz round, pick up this bale. We've already dropped 2 bales of grass round in the yard. By the way, turn the baler back on, pick this guy up, turn the mower back on, and off we go. And once we've got the next bale made in the machine, we'll drop these back in the yard. I think that's how we're going to play this one. Little Zeta, it's only 10 horsepower less than the big Zeta, remember. It does very good work. It seems to lack a bit of weight and a bit of stability for some of the jobs. I think that horsepowers are kind of just put into bands rather than specific numbers, and maybe 125 horsepower might be like the boundary in those bands somewhere, so that the 130 horsepower is significantly more effective than 120, but I think that might be the way the game mechanic works anyway from what I've seen. Right, turn you off, raise you up. Stay off the planted field like good farmers. So we'll review the situation before we start wrapping, because we obviously need to keep some grass, but I think the cows are pretty full of grass. We'll have a little look actually, see where we are. I believe they were pretty much good for everything except for the mixed rations. You also see that unlike before, the silage, hay and power food bars are matched up now. That's because I started putting the power food in straight away, never put any just hay or silage in, which was what made them so out of kilter in the previous playthrough, keeping them nice and clean as well, because we learnt our lesson there when we didn't, and we lost about $1,400. So yeah, little top up all round. We'll get onto that hopefully at some stage of today, but we've got plenty if we need to postpone that until tomorrow. Back up at the sunflower field. This guy is doing okay. He's getting on with it nicely and seems quite happy. There might be a couple of patches up by the three-legged post over there. It's quite hard to spot actually, but nothing to worry about. The harvester has dumped the header because we're exactly on half hour on lease. So what we're going to do is try to pick it up again. Just whiz over here. For what it's worth, we'll carry a couple of extra litres of sunflower to the trailer, and tomorrow I'm pretty confident, now we know how this guy is going to manage himself, that we can step in and ensure that it's done a little bit quicker, so we get the 2 days harvest done on 1 hour's rental. That is the ideal for which we are striving. So we'll just leave the header right there, deploy it pipe and empty. He's fine. We can get this guy back on, and he's getting on absolutely fine with the fertilising. Again, because of the way the staggered ends of the field are working, we just need to turn him back round. He thinks he's completed his mission otherwise. See how he gets on with the rest of the field. Here we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 bales so far, 2 more to pick up, so we've got 10. 1 less than we were before, slightly different yield to from a slightly different field, I guess. But at least we've got our boundary dispute clearly delineated by a little ploughed bit that I couldn't replant. So there you go. So we've got 2 more bales to grab. In fact, no, just put these away. We might as well just grab those with the wrapper. So we'll drop the mower in there. We'll drop the baler around here. Oh, I'm making much harder work than this than it needs to be because I've got the arms on the front catching the posts. Drop the baler there, that's fine. And we'll go grab the wrapper, which is right where we left it. Now there is, since we chose this bale wrapper, another one that we've found available on the local market which is even cheaper. We might have a look at that when we're heading up to the hour on the lease on this, and we will. I'll actually have a little check. Does it carry on wrapping while I'm looking at the shop? Let's see, shall we? Where is he hiding? He's in baling technology, of course. This guy here, the Metal Fash Z560, even cheaper. Not on a trailer as such, it kind of just attaches to the back of the tractor. Might give that a go just for a bit of variance, but that's something to look forward to. And at least it keeps on wrapping while we're doing that. Bring him with us. There we go. So it looks like this is going to work out quite nicely. This guy gets the mowing, the baling and the wrapping done, while the other guys are doing the sunflower field. Then this guy's going to go up and meet them, go up to the top fields. We've still got some stuff to sell. That's the soil that needs to go to the top fields. Glad I noticed that because I would have completely forgotten. We'll take that up when this guy heads up to the middle of the map. Right. I'll tell you what, let's just drop this straight in here. Oh, didn't really mean to do that. $180 for a bale of grass. Unload the baler. Lost about $810 there, I think, because we didn't wrap it. Bit silly. Lesson learnt. Very sensitive drop-off area. He's come back this way again. Right, this is the stolen land multitasking hired worker syndrome we have encountered yet again. And it is quite hard to spot where he's been and where he hasn't. I'm just going to check my alignment here manually. No, look, I need to be right another width back. That looks about right. A little check before we go, shall we? Go. Nope. We want to be even further over. There we go. Well done. All we need to do here now is just tidy up a couple of these little pieces with fertilizer, maximise the old yield. We're keeping quite a close eye on this guy. Right, he is really suffering. He did it again at the end of the run, and he's doing it again. Which way are you going to? You're going to go back that way again, aren't you? No. Right. I think we can see a bit more clearly from up here. Where you've been, go. About right. That'll do me. We'll keep an eye on the other end. We're going to move the harvester forward now. He's empty. So he's out of the way. And he can grab his grain header. Get ready potentially to head up to the top. Start harvesting the top fields. Alright. Come on, turn right, turn right. Place your bets. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Who have we got working today? Keep an eye out for this guy. It's Petrov. Oh, he's turned left again. Right, so let's start him down here and turn left at the end. But you didn't. You turned right at the top of the field. Right, off you go. If not, we're going to just take him over to the other corner and start him from there. Now this is all fertilised. That is one way of kind of sorting him out and hoping he can just keep on doing most of this on one run with no interruptions, because once he's been interrupted in his work, he could go any way he likes. And we're almost out of seed actually, just to add to the confusion. Go and get the last litre out. Right, there. Right. Bags are still in the shop. And the seed is the one on the right, because we don't want to top the fertiliser up at all. Don't want to really fill this up, do we? I guess we're using it tomorrow, so we don't have to be too strict. Let's just see. Oh. There we go. Right. Let's let him finish this row. Down here he turned left and we wanted him to turn right. If he does that up here, we'll be fine. And once he gets it right once, he should carry on doing it. Right, come on. Turn left, turn left. You're turning right now. Guy's gone crazy. Yep, okay. Last recourse in such situations is literally just to start him at this end of the field now. And he cannot get it wrong in theory. I'm not quite sure how he's going to get along. Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Now, let's hope this is worth the effort. And we're learning it. I mean, sometimes it might actually become quite practical to not plant an area of the field simply to save you having to put quite so much time into the management of it, or you might be quite happy to. Right. Let's raise the cultivator. We're going to go up here. Excuse me, Mr. Bulldozer. Lower the cultivator. Lower the seeder. Get this little corner done. Now, I think this is going to be a little bit silly on the turning. I appreciate that. In fact, let's just go here. We'll do a couple of these strips manually. Lift the cultivator. Lower the cultivator. We haven't actually done that strip. And now we'll let him go, just see what happens. When you've got diagonal field edges like that, the way this guy should do this, i.e. turn to the right and go back up, he should have no problem with diagonal edge, because it'll be quite close to him. If we were coming back the other way, the edge would be kind of behind him. No, look, he's already suffered a confusion, right? Go again. Come on, just do what you did. So if you see what I mean, when he gets to the end of this field, the stuff that he should be doing, in theory, is going to be to the right of him and is in front of the tractor, or to the side of the tractor. Whereas the stuff to the left is now behind the tractor. And sometimes the AI won't detect it and it will keep thinking it's at the, the end of the field. Right, come on. Come on, reverse. Yes, he's got one right. Long may it continue. Right, we can get on with some other stuff. Don't need you here right now. That field's 2 times fertilized. So let's bring you into here. Now we could go right ahead, send the harvester up. No, we need to finish wrapping. That's our next job. We'll get the wrapping done. 10 bales we are going to sell. $9,800. There is no need for you to watch me doing this bale by bale, is there? Well, we must stop meeting like this. Here we are. The bulldozer is bringing the sunflowers down to the mill, where the best price is today the price of $882 per 1,000 litres, which we're more than happy with. Now everybody met up, it all timed quite well, we got everything wrapped, we sold the 10 bales. Unfortunately, as you saw, we sold one as straw, grass, because we hadn't got to wrap it before we accidentally sold it. $9,000 bang on is basically, don't want to send a train off yet. Do we? Yes we do. Off you go. What happens if you send the train off before you finish tipping? Does the rest stay in storage and you send it off next time? I don't know. Hope we never have to find out. Anyway, everyone met up at the Ministry of Logistics, had a lunch break. The rest of the guys are up on the top fields doing their thing. Not really much to show you up there. So I shall simply tell you what I have found is the experimental fertilizer and seed bags, very good value they are, but they are a nightmare to move around. Maybe I've just not got the knack, or I need to use different machine or something, but they fall off, they fall over. They're then very impossible to pick up with the forks unless you can get them kind of pushed against a wall or a vehicle. Yeah, so it takes a little bit of time to move them around. Certainly the way I'm trying to do it. But half price is half price, so we'll have to say that it's a winner so far. Trek across the map from where we were. Nice fly by the dam, etc. But we've sold the sunflowers, and if you just look, so we made $11,600 off the sunflowers. That's very good. Now we're going to sell 20,000 soy. In fact, that's not correct, is it? Because we sold the wheat as well. I think it was about 8,000 for the sunflowers. I'm not here to split hairs. 18,000, almost 19,000 for the soy. That's very, very good. And we've also got a pretty full harvester and a little bit more to pick up, so maybe another 6,000 or 7,000. Why are you doing that? We'll call you finished, shall we? See, he's done this field beautifully though, didn't get confused once. I made sure he was full when he started, so he didn't have to stop to refill. And when he got blocked by an object, I didn't stop him and move him around the object. I went and moved the trailer, left the worker engaged just for those couple of minutes, and that all worked out quite nicely. Now again, we got the scary building, so we're going to do this manually. Now the sunflower field has taken a lot of effort today, a lot of messing around, figuring out, but we know where the problems lie, and we can deal with them the way we deal with these ones. We know they're there, and let's face it, if you really are aware of a problem, it is much less of a problem, because you probably already have a solution in mind. Past the scary house of doom, I think you will be okay now, and we'll get the other small Zeta back up to the field to finish emptying the harvester. We will decide what to do. As you can see, this guy's already doing his weeding. We got the first growth stage in on the bottom fields already, about 4 hours. So that's good. I decided today we sold all of the harvest. So we made about 8,000 for the sunflowers, about 3,000 for the barley, 4,000 maybe, and the rest of that, a big chunk of money, is $35,500 total from the soy on top. We got a good price, about $9.50 again. On the soy, which recovers daily, we've not had a really bad day on that at all. Brilliant. Now, everything is done, but I have grabbed from the Ministry of Logistics for an hour, cost us about $300, a roller. Now, I wasn't sure if this was going to work, because the roller says it returns land to its original condition, and these fields here, these bits that I'm getting rid of, were, if you remember, from the initial land liberation, are already divided up into small fields like backyards. So I wasn't sure, but no, we'll put these back to grass. It will save some of the workers a little bit of confusion. It'll make things look a little bit nicer. I might have quite liked, as I've said, to put a bit of concrete down, a bit of hard standing in a couple of these areas, but that is a facility we do not yet have in Sosnovka. So we're just going to do this, tidy around the place, see what it all looks like when we're done. I don't know, I guess this might be quite effective in the silage bunker as well for the compaction. I don't know. I know there's the purpose-built rollers for such things, but I don't see why this wouldn't work. It's all a question of weight after all. Now, I did consider, in fact, we're going to do an experiment. I'm just going to take out along here, so it kind of figures out itself. We're going to go about here. We're going to take out this line and hope that this ends the horrors of the scary house for the chaps. Quite tight down here. Might just get them far enough away to stop worrying about collisions or whatever it is that's doing their head in. Obviously need to do a bit of tidying up. I'll see you guys at midnight. So it's just after midnight, as is traditional. Here we are, ending our lovely cows under the gorgeous light of our work light, which we can now turn off. Lovely. Right, where are we? We're in Sosnovka. We know that. Look at the price of soy there. It's over 1,000 at the mill now. Should have held on. Talking of which, we will discuss whether we should maybe put some stuff aside, look for prices. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. Here we are, the daily figures. We're looking at Saturday. We've spent some money. We bought some cows. Construction. Trying to recall what that was now. Ah, that's the light. Vehicle running costs down to 1948. Now, if you remember, a lot of these vehicles are newer. Bear that in mind. But we were paying ridiculous amounts of money just on the harvester. So I think we were up to $6,500 a day before we lost our save. So that's quite a good daily saving. Leasing costs, yeah, well, there you go. That's where we are. But it seems to be working quite well for us. Annual upkeep per animal, nothing we can do about that. Sold wood, $24,000. That was one load of wood, so we could do that once a day if we wanted to. We got that done while the bottom fields are being harvested. Sold bales, $9,000. Could have been $9,800, but I made that mistake with the bale of grass. We can do that every day whilst the sunflower field is being harvested. Sold wool, no. Milk, $12,000. We've already got $12,800 in. We'll look at the actual animal situation in detail. Seed costs, fertilizer costs, yeah, I think we're going to see where we are, but that we've got lots left over, so don't really take those figures at all seriously. Right, cows, we've got 51 cows now. We've just made one. If you actually look, our reproduction rate under 24 hours per cow to be made, so that's fantastic. It also means that 50 was our target quota for the next audit day, which is the day after tomorrow, because it's Saturday and audit days are Mondays, as well we know, and I'll get the hang of these menu orderings one day, I promise you. So yes, we're going to be well over quota. Now I think naturally we carried on, we bought another cow tomorrow. I think we're going to aim to be maybe 55 cows, 10% over quota on audit day. We're not intending on spending too much money, and we have got quite a lot, haven't we? Yes, we have. We've got 58,000 to start the day with. That's absolutely fantastic. That income, if we want to do it whilst we're harvesting the fields with our spare tractor, $33,000 a day, could be more, probably about 35. That's great. Anyway, we shall be back. We have some tomorrow to get ready for the next audit day, and then we need to discuss what our next week's activities are going to be. Thank you very much for watching. Leave us a comment, please. Any suggestions as to how we might start spending this money we're getting? Do we just go full cow until it gets fun work, or do we look at other ways of sneaking in a bit of income on the side? Do let me know, and subscribe if you want to keep in touch, and tick your notifications if you want to see stuff as it is released.